Hi everyone. Today I'm here to talk about something that can be annoying sometimes, code reviews. Well, I'm here to make your life easier the next time you need to deal with code reviews. But before we get started, please let me know how many of you have done or received a code review before. Please raise your hand. Oh, quite a lot. But for those who haven't done or received a code review before, no worries. You can look at this talk as a beginner's guide into code reviews. But just to make sure everyone is on the same page, let me quickly explain what a code review is. Well, a code review is that moment in a team where someone else will look and review your code before it is merged into another branch. Well, I really like code reviews because they are a great way to find bugs, improve the code quality, and to share knowledge. However, not everything about code reviews is that great. So please let me know by raising your hand if one of your main struggles with code reviews has something to do with handling feedback, endless discussions, or just to find the time to do a proper code review. Please raise your hand if you agree. Okay, I'm not alone on this one. So based on this, we can conclude that it doesn't matter if you find all the bugs and write the perfect code if you can share that feedback in a healthy way, right? The final outcome, the final emotional outcome, won't feel good, right? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. To give you a little of context, as said before, my name is Sandrina. I'm a front-end developer from Portugal. And during the last years, I spent a lot of time doing and receiving code reviews. And I must say, I learned a lot from it. But sometimes, it was a pain in the ass. But, well, that's what I'm going to talk today. I'll give you some practical tips about code reviews. I won't talk much about the technical part of it. I will instead focus on our reactions and our behavior during code reviews. So when it comes to code reviews, we have three roles. We have a team. We have the author, the person who opens a pull request and asks for a review. And then we have the reviewer. And it's up to each one of us to change our mindset, you know? We all have the same responsibility of doing the small things that will make the difference at the end of the day. So let's get started by the team. For me, the most important thing as a team is to share a culture of collaboration. You know, we are all here with the same goal of learning, right? We need to understand that a code review is not about who is right and who is wrong. It's about what's the best for the project and for everyone. And once we embrace that mindset, I think we are ready to learn and collaborate in a much healthier way. Then, we need to recognize a code review as part of the development process. Look, if you took 1 week to develop a feature, don't expect the code review to just take 1 hour or 1 day. It doesn't work like that. So include your code reviews in the estimations. That way the team will feel more confident about it, and no one will try to rush the code review. And time is important, right? So you can save time with guidelines and automatization. For example, I'll give you 2 examples, templates and linters. When you add a template to a pull request on GitHub or GitLab, you are preventing future pull requests that don't follow the guidelines. For example, a pull request with a poor description or with missing tests, you know. And regarding linters, as far as I know, linters are the only effective and subtle way of avoiding picky comments. Oh, you forgot a comma here. This variable doesn't follow the convention. The indentation is wrong, you know. When you see these type of comments, they are really essential, but they are really annoying as well. So when you see a comment like this popping up from code review to code review, look for ways to minimize it and save time. Then, we are all here to learn as a team, right? So I think that anyone can do a code review, and everyone must receive one. It doesn't matter if you are a junior or a senior. I bet there is something useful you can get from a code review, you know? As Ryan Holiday says, the second you stop being a student, your knowledge becomes fragile. So during a code review, remember to stay humble. Look at any feedback as an open discussion rather than a defensive reaction. And the same applies not only when you receive feedback, but also when you give feedback. Before writing down any comment, remember to put yourself in the other people's shoes. You know, it's really easy to get misunderstood in your own words. So review them before pressing that send button. Even when a conversation starts to get ugly, stay respectful. It's never a bad idea to speak well to others. And now that I'm talking about the others, I would like to talk about the art of choosing reviewers. And for me, this is one of the trickiest parts during a code review, especially in teams with a lot of people. And to help me here, I have a story for you. So here we have John. John is our colleague, and he works in your team. John spent the last week working on this new pull request, and is about to, working on this code, and is about to open a pull request. However, John is not sure about who to choose as his reviewer. Well, John wants to speed up the process, right? And he believes the more reviewers he have, the faster he will get a code review. So, for that reason, John decides to pick everyone as his reviewer, including you. So, everyone will receive a notification. John requested your review along with other 5 people. How do you react to this? Let's be honest. You'll think, someone else will do it, eventually. So you delete the notification, you delete the email, and you move on with your own tasks. And so, time goes by, and poor John is sitting around waiting for a code review that never comes, right? So eventually, John will reach out to his colleagues and asks like something, hey, I opened this pull request a few days ago. Could you please review it? It's really quickly, I have this deadline, you know? And everyone will be like, oh, John, I'm so sorry, I'll do the code review right now. And everyone starts the code review at the same time, and the chaos of endless discussions begins. And the code review will just take forever, because everyone likes to share their own opinion. Another scenario could also happen, where John reminds you about the pull request, and you'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it right now. So you click the link, you scroll through the pull request, and you leave a single comment. Looks good to me. Tell me I'm not the only one thinking this, am I? Good. So, whatever the scenario, the final emotional outcome for John won't be that good. In one hand, John will feel overwhelmed by the huge amount of feedback. On the other side, John will feel empty by the lack of proper feedback. So I think we all have something to learn from John's history here, right? Let's see how we could have done this in a different way. So John is about to open a pull request, but this time John will choose only one reviewer, and it's going to be you. Now, you are the only reviewer. You are responsible for doing a proper code review. So you'll look at the code, you'll review the code, and once you are happy with it, you'll choose a second reviewer. The second reviewer will do the same thing. And once John and both reviewers are happy about the code, the pull request is ready to go. But if for some reason there's something not clear yet, you can ask a third reviewer to clarify that, you know? And that's it. So I do believe that we should avoid having too many reviewers during a code review. Being able to trust your colleagues' best judgment on the code is the secret to have a healthy and smooth code review. This is an example where quality is more important than quantity, right? And I'm not saying that all code reviews should be the same. Sometimes I like to do in-person reviews where you gather the reviewers and the author in the same room, and you do the review all at the same time. I find this quite useful when there are complex changes or specific knowledge to be shared. You know, but I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes a code review won't be that smooth. A deadline is more important. It's Friday, I don't know. And you'll have some complications. And in those times, you need to know how to compromise and to be flexible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we can be careless about the code. I'm just saying that sometimes we need to do some tough trade-offs. And that's okay. You know, remember, a pull request is an iteration, it's not the final solution. And there is always room for improvement as long as you make it as a team. So for me, these are the most important things in order to do a healthier code review. Respect everyone, especially when giving and receiving feedback. And there's no need for everyone to review every single line of code that goes into production. Just trust each other and save time. And remember to make those decisions as a team. And that's how you create a culture of collaboration. Then, moving on to the next role, the author. I think as an author, our first goal is to minimize the reviewer's surprise. You know, you are responsible for a predictable code review. So let's see how we can do that. Please, go talk with your teammates before writing too much code. Look, there's nothing wrong when you are not sure about something in the code. Actually, this will prevent early mistakes, and you'll find the initial solution where everyone agrees on. And once you are about to open a pull request, before asking your teammates to review the code, do it yourself first. Be your first reviewer. I really mean it. Go through each line of code and have a reviewer mindset. This will save you from those early comments asking you to delete console logs, fix typos, or just adding the missing tests. I see some guilty faces there. So, well, the goal here is to submit a pull request as you'd like to receive one. And once you submit the pull request, be patient, okay? Don't go jump into the chat reminding your reviewer about the pull request. Just chill. Grab a coffee, go take a walk. It's your time. Just trust your reviewer's workflow as they trust you to open a good pull request. Just be patient, because in no time, comments will come, questions will be asked, changes will be proposed. And the golden rule here is to not take any feedback as a personal attack, okay? Let go of your ego. Everyone makes mistakes, including you and me. And eventually, reviewers will ask questions. They will try to understand how your code works. What does this do? Why it's there? How it works? And at some point, you'll ask yourself, should code be self-explanatory? Well, some people agree, others don't, and some don't even care. I have a tweet here from Sophie Alpert with a fix she wrote a while ago. For those who can't see, there is only one line of code here, and it simply changes the style of an element. Pretty self-explanatory. However, Sophie also wrote more than 13 lines of code comments just to explain why it's there. Well, this is a type of comment that we don't see much around it. Let's be honest, once again. We know how usually comments are out there, right? And yes. Sorry, I'm a cat person, okay? But anyway, I think our biggest mistake when it comes to write code comments is that we write comments explaining what the code does instead of why it's there. And without realizing it, this lack of explanation, we are causing your future selves to delete a block of code that we thought was useless because we didn't understand why it's there. So, yes, I do believe that code should be self-explanatory, but only when it comes to explain what it does. However, if we want to explain why it's there, we should write code comments as a complement. But anyway, for me to be a great and a healthier author, I think the only thing that we need to do is to follow the guidelines, be patient, be a listener, and think about your future self, especially when fixing bugs. Now, moving on to the next role. Well, a code review isn't a code review without a reviewer, right? So let's see how we can be healthier reviewers. Well, the most common behavior I see among reviewers, including myself, is when someone asks you to do a code review and you say something like, yeah, sure, I'll do it right now. So you stop everything you are doing just to do the code review. Please, don't do this. This is a trap. This is not how you manage your time, okay? doing code reviews take time. So I don't know about you, but when I fall in this trap, each time I need to switch code context like that, I take a while to get back on track, to concentrate again on my own code. So for that reason, I prefer to plan ahead of my time for doing code reviews, for example, right in the morning or after lunch. Those are the moments that work the best for me because my brain is still fresh without a previous code context to switch off from. And once I'm done with the code review, I can move forward with my own tasks. And at the same time, the author can reevaluate his code based on my feedback. So I think it's a good win-win. Then, when you actually start to do the code review, and you see something that doesn't follow the guidelines, be sportive, especially for newcomers and in open source projects. You know, when we know something, when we take something for granted or it's really obvious for us, it might not be for others. And that's something that we tend to forget. So in those moments, just try to understand the author's struggles, try to guide them. Perhaps there are room for improvements in the guidelines. And do you know who are the best people to write documentation? That's it, the newcomers. So be a listener as well and be sportive. And eventually, as I said before, you'll start to make questions. And while you ask questions, make sure to ask before assuming anything else. How does this work? Why it's here? So you'll try to understand the code. And as reviewers, our goal is to try to simplify even more the code, to write clean code. However, I'd like to remind you that there's a difference between code that is hard to read and code that you are not aware of. Don't mistake simple code with ignorance. I understand it's in our nature as human beings, when we see something new, we try to reject it at first sight. But I think as developers, we can do better than that, right? So if you see a feature where you are not familiar with, be open to learn and discover if it really helps the project, okay? And while you do all of that, remember to keep the focus. Before suggesting anything, ask yourself if that's really necessary to that pull request, or if it can be done in another run. This is tricky, especially when it comes to refactors. Look, if the pull request itself is already a refactor, and you are asking for even more refactors, that won't make the author life any easier. So, yep. Anyway, I think the most important thing as reviewers is to express our feedback in a receptive and transparent way. For example, when we say something like, oh, you forgot this variable, that might sound aggressive. You could say it in another way. Oh, it's missing a variable. Did you notice the difference? Just by using a passive voice or talking in the plural, we are showing some empathy with the author. We are expressing our feedback as an open discussion. And when we express our feedback, make sure to be clear between what's your opinion or what is a fact. For example, if you say, oh, this code should be moved to another file. Why? Is it your opinion or a fact? Well, if you say, oh, following the specs, let's move this code. Okay, it's a spec. Oh, I think this code should be moved. Okay, that's your opinion. This will make all the difference when the author answers you back. And when you express an opinion, make sure to explain the why behind it. You know, we only really understand something when we know the why behind it. So make sure to let the author know about what are the benefits behind your feedback. And when you express or suggest something new where the author might not feel familiar with it, provide some guidance. A code example, some documentation, you know, if even possible, a real example somewhere else in the project. This will help a lot the author when it comes to learn something new. My last tip for you is be reasonable. If you see a flaw in the code made multiple times, just say it once or twice. If you add the same code, the same comment over and over again across a pull request, that only creates noise and might be counterproductive. And yep, those are my 5 tips to give constructive feedback. Use a passive voice. Remember to target the code, not the author. Be clear between what's a fact and an opinion. Explain why, provide examples, and be reasonable. But you know what? Doing code reviews is not all about finding stuff in the code to be improved. It's also a great way or a great place to valorize and to acknowledge your team's mates' work. Hey, John, you did a great work here with this intersection observer thing. Good job. You know, this type of feedback, this type of behavior will motivate John and everyone, all the team, to keep doing a good work. You know, just keep the vibe up. Now, there's one last thing I want to tell you about being a good reviewer. And I think it will make the difference between being a good reviewer and a healthy reviewer. It's okay to refuse doing a code review. Look, the moment you accept to doing a code review, there is someone else trusting your skills. It's a commitment. So if you don't have time to do it, and if you try to rush it, you are compromising not only the project quality, but as well your team mindset. So if you don't have the time to do it, just say no. Look, John, I'm so sorry, I won't be able to do it. You can ask Kelly instead. See? Just be honest with your team and with yourself. And that's it, everyone. Given enough time, I think you'll realize that dealing with code reviews, it's much more than finding bugs and shared knowledge. You'll look at each code review as an opportunity to grow. Even outside code reviews, you'll see, you'll learn how to receive and give feedback in a healthier way. You'll take wiser decisions, you know? Just remember to share this mindset of collaboration, because sharing is what makes us better. Thank you.